Hi everyone, Shanice here, and tonight I'm going to talk about channeling transition symptoms, what my own experience was, and what I believe is happening to most of you. Now, I haven't prepared anything, so we'll just see how it goes, but I'm very, very happy that you're all here and that you found each other because I know one, very large concern for me at the time was things just felt so odd. I had no idea that anyone else was experiencing what I was experiencing because I didn't know what I was experiencing. So I'm glad you've got each other, and please offer each other the support that you can. So, I guess I would say about 20 years ago, when I first came to New York, I was at a dance audition. I grew up as a dancer, and I met a woman that we connected, and I have no idea. Well, I do know why now, but we started talking about spirituality, and she mentioned the Saint Germain books, and I got one of the books, and I read the book and just felt so connected with it. I can't explain how right it felt, but it was so it was very powerful for me because I had always been a sensitive person. I was never somebody who thought they heard angels or saw spirits, so I didn't really have a connection with spirituality before this, except for the fact that I'd been raised in the church. So I start reading these books and just felt immediately connected. And I ended up finding someone else who channeled and listened to their material. So for about 15 years, at least up into about 15 years, I was reading this material very diligently, not sharing it with anybody, but reading this material. And then I came to a point in my life where I was very unhappy with my relationship and my job, and so I ended up working with someone to help raise my vibration. And unbeknownst to both her and myself, I started having these crazy, crazy physical experiences. So I don't even remember what the order was, but one of my experiences had to do with my throat chakra. During the day, I was fine. Every time I would lay down to go to sleep at night, it felt like I was being choked. I would put Vicks Vapor Rub on my throat. I would like every blue crystal I had, I would put on my throat. And honestly, every night, I would just like I would kind of stretch my neck when I would sleep so I could get some more air in. And then eventually I would just say, well, I hope I don't die. And then I would go to sleep. And so that was extremely scary. Luckily, that only happened for about 2 weeks. I had other experiences where I would go into a store, and I don't have any type of claustrophobia or vertigo or fear of people, and I would go, which is good because I live in New York. There are a lot of people here. But so I would go in this particular store, and immediately I felt, I don't know, the best way to explain it is that I was being shoved down by the weight of something. I was being shoved down, and I would have no choice but to put down whatever I was looking at and leave. I mean, honestly, I really wouldn't get to the point of being able to look at something, but I would go in the store, the feeling would start, and then I would leave. There was a time when I worked at an investment bank, and there was a sales team behind me. Luckily, there was no one on my desk, but there's kind of like this long desk and people sit next to each other. And I remember one day, I ended up needing to leave work early because I felt like vertigo. There was so much energy moving around in me, around me, underneath me. I just felt completely off balance. Again, this is something that never really happens to me. I guess the dancer part has me being relatively graceful and better with balance, or maybe than most people, who knows. But anyway, this was very unfamiliar. It was very scary, and I also don't get headaches. It wasn't really a headache, but I could feel things going on in my head, like energy moving, and it was very scary. So I just remember leaving work early and hopping in a taxi to go home. And I was an administrative assistant, so it wasn't like I always took taxis home. So I took this taxi home because I just felt so overwhelmed. And let's see, there were a few other experiences that I had. Oh, there was the time when my body parts started moving. And I told my coach that I was working with, and so basically what she said was, okay, first we want you to do, protection and call on Archangel Michael to make sure that this is safe and that you're fine. And then I guess just write down what's going on. So I had this journal of things like 8:15, right shoulder goes up and down. Like 8:17, left shoulder goes up and arm flies. Like it was the wildest thing. There were so many bizarre experiences. But then kind of the last experience that I had before I started channeling was that I'm sitting at work at this investment bank. Like I said, luckily there was no one else on this long kind of row of desks. They were all empty. I'm sitting at my computer, and all of a sudden my hands fly to the keyboard and start typing. It didn't make any sense. It was kind of this stream of conscious flow of letters. It was very, very odd. It wasn't scary because my arms and my hands felt really happy. It's weird to explain. It was the weirdest thing. I think the only reason that I wasn't super freaked out was that I remembered reading about Esther Hicks when she started channeling Abraham, and then they had her nose moving, and I don't even know if I think maybe at that point I had some idea that that was going on. But so basically, like I said, I'm just typing. It's this random stream of conscious letters that don't make any sense. But I would email them to myself because I felt like maybe there were important messages since my hands were so happy to type this. Meanwhile, I also try to type a message to my spiritual coach because I can't talk. I'm at work. And I start typing the email, then immediately it starts going into the stream of conscious again. It was very kind of funny. But so basically I would email myself these messages just to make sure I could have them saved. I would look at the message, not be able to read anything, and just feel this light, just this radiant light. So I knew that there was something there. And I remember telling my spiritual coach about this, and she's like, oh, well, if it's from source, it's going to make sense. So then I did more protections, didn't start making sense. But so that's my experience of just the physical, what I'm calling transition symptoms. And basically, once you get into the point where you can do automatic typing, because that's actually the next phase or that I went through, it's really beautiful because then you get guided from your source, whoever you're working with. And so eventually I was able to do some work to get my automatic typing clear. And this beautiful guide, she said her name was Rose. A friend later told me that he believes her to be Mother Mary, and she confirmed it. Would just give me the loveliest messages of support. And at one point, Rose had me type, we would like for you to get a recording device because we want to start speaking through you. Bizarre, but I was like, okay, one step at a time. I'm just gonna get this recording device. I'm not even gonna think about what's coming next. And I have to say, allowing another being to speak through you is the most bizarre thing. I mean, I think it's the most bizarre. I'm sure there are more bizarre things, but it's very bizarre to say the least. They did make the process as loving and as beautiful as possible. The first things that came through were, we love you, all is fine. We love you, all is fine. They just kept saying it through me to put me at ease. So it was lovely. It was a lovely experience, and it's a lovely ability to have. It was scary for a long time because I didn't know what was going on. And so basically what is happening with you, if you all are having experiences like this, before you incarnated on this plane, you have sort of a existing contract. Before you incarnated, you were with other energies or other beings that said, yes, okay, the ascension is going to be happening on Earth at this particular time. Let's go in and help whoever we can, whoever we're suited to help. And so part of these beings, some of this energy stayed on one side of the veil, and then you decided to come through the veil and incarnate, and then at some point work with these beings. So The only, I guess, I'm only going to call it a downside for us because it's funny, but like you go through the veil of forgetfulness, so you don't necessarily remember that that's what you signed up to do. So when you start working on your vibration and releasing stuck energy and releasing beliefs that no longer serve you, combined with the rising energies of ascension, you get to that point where you're a vibrational match to work with these beings that you just agreed to work with before you incarnated, but you just consciously, you don't know this because you went through the veil of forgetfulness. But so this is what is happening to you. You are basically transitioning, or your body is transitioning, and you are remembering how to be of assistance in the way that you decided to be of assistance, that you wanted to be of assistance before you incarnated. And so there are quite a few, it's just that it's a very interesting ride. And I do remember something that I wanted to share with you. Like there were times, like I said, I would go into the store and I would feel pressed down. I remember using all these tools of light that I could think of to kind of rope the energy and pull it, or I was just doing all these things that I thought would help energetically. But the point is, I had already done enough light work. Like light wasn't the problem. I was wondering, what if these are dark energies? Not that I had any idea of how to work with dark energies at the time or protect myself from them. I just always connected to source. But the main thing was that, like, you might have tried different light tools that you work, maybe, lighting around your throat chakra, imagining a sun to have it expand. And it doesn't work because you've got a lot of light. Like this is happening because you've done the work. And that's one of the funny things about this experience is that, it seems like the experience is probably a vibrational discord for what you're experiencing in your life. Like things are probably flowing and you feel great and you're just kind of wondering what's going on, but that's why this is happening. It's happening because basically there's this kind of like this tipping point. It's like, all right, you're here, we're here, let's do this. Except, like I said, you just might not know what's going on. So I created a program just for this. I know in my heart of hearts that with the ascension energies that are rising, there are more people waking up to their gifts to be of service in the way that they're able to be of service, but they might not know what's going to happen when they do that. Because I've always known I wanted to help people. I've always known I wanted to be of service. When I was reading the Saint Germain books, I felt so connected and I was like, yes, I want to assist people. And so I get to assist people and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But yeah, I just want to find people who are in the beginning stages of this process so I can make the rest of their process easy and have them not be scared and mostly have them not shut down, because you have the ability to just be like, no, I'm done, none of this. But what's happening is actually not meant to cause you harm. It's meant to be a beautiful gift. And so now, because of my automatic typing, and then Rose said she would start channeling through me vocally. I channel vocally. I channel healing energy. I do light language, and I do angelic toning. I channel Ascended Masters. I've channeled crystal energy, which, by the way, as a channel, you don't even have to buy. Like, I love crystals, so I buy crystals. But I remember with my Book of Stones, looking at a crystal and just like, oh my goodness, just the energy just leapt off of this page at me. And then later the crystals would communicate through me and just gave me a way to connect to that crystal energy without actually carrying a crystal. So there's so much beauty in being a channel and remembering who you are. And I mean, that was actually a fun discovery process, but that says nothing of the people that you're able to assist. It's beautiful to be able to shift people and help them heal in a way that is so co-creative, because I know that I, of my own physical self, cannot do the things that are happening to people in the healing sessions, that I can't have them achieve the results from not being aligned with source. So it's really beautiful to know that my guides are right there. They come every time, and sometimes I'm just like, are you sure? Are you guys coming? They always come. It's a really wonderful thing, and because of the joy that I feel when I'm doing this, because of the joy that I feel now, that I found so many people that are going through this experience, that I can go like, hey guys, this is how you can get through it and stay open. Because of that, I want people to go through the process and not shut down and stay open and have a clear enough connection with their guidance that after I get them to a certain point, that you're like golden. You've got it. You've got your guides. They talk to you when they need to. It comes through easily. There's much more of a feeling of respect. Because yeah, it doesn't always feel like free will is yours when you feel like you're choking. You're like, why is this happening? What is going on? But yeah, so anyway, feel free, definitely PM me if you're interested in finding out more about the course. We can set up a call. Like I said, I really am glad that you know that you are not alone. I think that is first and foremost the best thing. And also knowing that what's happening is a good thing. It's not going to last forever. You can shut it down, but your soul is going to be so happy if you go through the process and just do part of what you came here to do, because there are a lot of people that are craving your assistance and the way that you'll be able to serve them. And I would be very happy to be someone who can help get you through that space. So with that, that is all I'm sharing tonight. Feel free to message me, to write messages below, but definitely if you are going through any type of, like I said, what I'm calling channeling transition symptoms, let me know what they are so I will know how to gear my next videos. But with that, I love you all. Have a beautiful night, and I will talk to you soon.